Deja vu.
I like deja vu. So what were you talking about McKinney? Talk about McKinney again.
Yeah, so he's just not worth the money. I could go on. Yeah, it's not worth the money with where the Giants are right now. So what do you think Atlanta should do? I mean, you think okay, what do you think Harbaugh should do? You think where do you think ultimately is the best spot for him to land, including everything, including ownership and the roster and everything else? Where do you think Harbaugh? If you were Harbaugh, where would you choose to go?
Well, that's what I was thinking about. So you made me think about Sirianni's, I think, coming back, but I think McCarthy is gone. But I
Yeah,
don't know. Okay, so is it his best place to go? For me, I feel like the Chargers are what's the word I'm looking for? They look like a rebuild. I don't like the team around him. I don't know if you agree on that front.
yeah,
I like
and
he does. I don't love the quarterback. I don't love Justin Fields as his
yeah.
quarterback.
I agree. I think Atlanta, I think they have almost everything else, and they have the flexibility to get a quarterback. They could draft. They can if they wanted to. If Harbaugh loved Fields, they could get Fields. He could trade up for the draft if he wanted to. And I'm not saying this is the answer, but let's just say for some reason he wanted to go with a veteran like Kirk Cousins. I'm not saying that's the answer, but just I think
No,
Atlanta has
but
options
Rob,
at quarterback.
Rob, I like that. I like that. I like the Kirk Cousins argument. I like that argument. Okay, so continue.
Or
Go
Russell
with your
Wilson. Or Russell
right.
Wilson for Atlanta.
Yeah,
Yeah.
right. For a couple years, like a
Yeah.
stopgap, like
Yeah.
passer the torch.
Yep.
So you think your gut is telling you the best team for him is Atlanta? Is that what you're thinking? Because I'm okay with that.
The
I'm
division
okay
also
with
sucks, and it's the NFC,
sucks.
which is less less. In AFC you got Cincinnati, you got Buffalo, you got Baltimore, you got Kansas City, you got let's say you got the Jets have potential to be good. I mean, there's a lot of good teams in the AFC. The NFC, it's what San Francisco. We don't know where Philadelphia is going to be. The Cowboys will probably be good. Green Bay, but Green Bay still not in it. I know they beat the Cowboys, but it's not like they were like this
Right,
juggernaut. But
right, and now
and the
they're going to go
South
on a run.
sucks. So your
South
division
sucks.
getting quickest way to the playoffs is that division, and you're playing indoors, which I mean couldn't be good or bad, but it could help your quarterback, and they have tons of offensive talent.
I listen. All I'm saying to you is yes, yes. Because that's if you
Yeah,
go by the division, they could dominate it for years. I mean, think
years.
about it. Carolina is not going to be good for
Carolina sucks.
years.
That owner, they'll never be good there because the owner. I don't think.
Oh, so I saw in the Athletic today. I was reading about the coaching carousel, and they had Carroll going somewhere. And it was one of, and Vrabel going to Philly if Philly gets rid of Sirianni, which might be a little tough love. And they said Hurts regressed, but you saw Hurts' finger; it was like crooked. Now
Yeah,
I don't know if did you watch any of that game against, or you went to bed with the Bucks game because it was late.
yeah, late.
Did you?
Yeah, it was late. Yeah,
I, I don't know how you keep a coach who finishes 1-6. And Brandon on Company of Jace was saying that it wasn't a big deal. I go, dude, you were 10-1 and you lost 6-7. I don't know how that's okay.
yeah.
That is a meltdown upon meltdown of all meltdowns, in my opinion. And they were showing Lurie in the box. Lurie looked like somebody punched him in the nuts, and just he was like, or he's waiting for his execution. So, but back to Harbaugh, yeah. What I think that what bothers me a little bit is they won one championship, Rob, and they're like, okay, we're good. We won our one. That's good. Whereas Saban is like continuously wants to keep winning, and even Michigan. My girlfriend is like they're almost. We won the championship. We're cool. Thanks. You did what you came here to do, and we're okay. Move on. And I'm like, really? Is one enough? I guess it is. And I think that's all he wanted to do is win that ring. He got his championship, Michigan, play there, won there, and now he's ready to go back to the NFL. I guess. I guess that's what he's feeling. I don't think he's going back. Michigan says she read yesterday that he's going back. That they have a thing. Also, he wants immunity from I guess they're coming down on the recruiting. NSCA is not going to give him immunity. They're going to probably suspend him another 6 games. So that's why I think he's going pro. But what were we going to say?
It's also about timing. Last year, he interviewed for Minnesota, and they didn't even accept him. And you know how it is with coaching. All of a sudden, he goes back to Michigan. It's a rebuilding year. He doesn't look as good. Now everyone's, Harbaugh wasn't good. Harbaugh's not as good. It was really the talent. I mean, things are so up and down.
Right.
So much
Yeah.
is timing, and there's a lot of good coaching opportunities out there in the NFL. Next year, he may be ready next year, and you may end up having the Jets available with Rodgers deciding to retire, and then who knows? The Giants are available, and they're even a worse mess. I mean, like he's got some opportunities with Atlanta, with the Chargers, with Dallas, some talented rosters that are right there, ready to win, that are much better to step into than who knows what's available next year. So some of it's timing too, and I think he understands that. He's a smart guy.
Right.
So. And he
But I
views the
got
NFL as unfinished business. I absolutely think he's an NFL coach. He did go to college, but things ran its course in San Francisco. But I think ultimately he's an NFL coach, and I think he has. You talked about wanting to win multiple. I think he has that hunger of the NFL is the ultimate. I proved I could do it in college. That's proven already. That's known. I want to get back to the NFL and prove it.
that's a
And
yeah.
you
That's a
know,
good take, Rob. That's a good take. So, Josh, Kev are very excited that we're doing YouTube, and we got. But this,
yeah.
okay, but this is what I wanted to ask you. You just made me think of something. Every goddamn year, Rob, there's a guy that comes out. It's Stecken, whatever the hell. Stecken and was the hot guy, and now it's Ben Johnson, and Slowick now at Texans. Can we give these guys like a 3-year run before we go crazy and give them head coaching positions? Does Johnson really deserve a head coaching job because of the year he's having? Now, they were good last year. He's proved that this year they've improved. But is he really the answer for an NFL franchise? To me, I don't know. I mean, McVay is a very good coach. I'm not going to deny it. And his coaching tree, a lot of guys are doing. But Belichick's coaching tree pretty much dried up. The only guy, Vrabel, is the only guy I would say success out of all the guys. All his guys. So what do you think about that? Do you think Ben Johnson, do you think that NFL owners have no patience?
Yeah, they have zero patience. How do you tell with Johnson? I mean, like, look at Dan Campbell when he first came out, and the press conference was, "Oh, Dan Campbell, we're gonna bite him in the shins or the knee or whatever that comment was," and
right,
was like,
right,
"Oh,
yeah,
he's
yeah,
not
yeah.
good," but he turned out to a great one. Everyone loved Joe Judge's, and look at Joe
Oh
Judge.
yeah,
I mean,
right,
and he
right.
learned under Belichick, and that never works. No one learned. So it's how do you tell if someone's being a coach? Being a coordinator, you're focused on the offense and the offense only. And during the games, you're focused on just your offense. As a head coach, you have to be a leader of men, which you see someone like Antonio Pierce is clearly a leader of men. They love him. You have to be. Mike Tomlin is a leader of men. You hear how he speaks, how he talks. In the game, you have to oversee the whole situation. You have to, clock management. You're not focusing usually on one part of the offense or defense or special teams. Just being a coach is different than being a coordinator. So
I agree.
Yeah.
Kevin's bashing your. He said Christmas is
My
over.
Giants
Look at
sweatshirt.
that. Look at that ugly Giant
Beautiful
sweatshirt.
Well, he'll love this.
Dude,
He'll love this though. He'll love this.
Ooh.
Is a DPHO the company? Everyone. I got. By the way, Josh, Kev, I got a compliment. Where did I wear this hat? I wore this the other day, and someone said, "Hey, that's a nice hat." Oh, my son's dentist appointment. The dentist came and said, "That's a really nice hat you're wearing." I was like, then they had no idea who DPHO and Rothenberg were. They said, "Who is that?" I said, "The radio show." But they said, "But the hat looks really nice." Everyone loves just the colors and everything. Everyone loves this hat.
So you guys made that hat.
Yep,
That's you
Josh
guys.
designed this. Yeah, Josh designed it.
Look
For our
at
t-shirts,
Josh.
For our t-shirts, Josh comes up with a concept, and then we have a group chat on Twitter, like 5 of us, and then we critique it and we work together. It's a great group of people. Hellman's part of them, and we part of it, and Key, and we all could come up with Josh comes up with the main design, and then we do a little critiquing, and that's how the t-shirts come up.
Yeah,
But
because
Josh
the
did the hat.
t-shirts. You wore the t-shirts to the ESPN the summer. What was the thing that Kay didn't show up for? Which I was pissed. I really wanted Kay there too. I wanted Kay.
Yeah, the Beach Bash, and then we also for any events we do on our own, like the baseball Mets game, we had one, Yankee game, we had one. Josh designs them, and he's got a guy who makes them up, and we can order them, and I know his guys. Yeah, his guy's awesome, and it's the quality of the shirts and the hats are nice too. It's that wicking shirts. They're really cool. Meaning like cool, like just temperature wise, they're cool. I mean, they're cool because they look cool, but temperature wise, they're the wicking ones. So they're nice in that sense. And hoodies and everything.
Dude, it's the real deal. Now, you heard Kelsey says now that he is not retiring. That it was the heat of the moment. That's what he said. Says on his make an official announcement on his playing career when it's time. I think he would be a phenomenal Oh, he said the Mets one came out awesome. I need to see that one.
Yeah,
Let me
yeah,
see that
Josh and
one.
I worked on that one together. Yeah, we did. That was me and him. Yeah, Josh. Yeah, just me and Josh on the Mets one. Yeah, that's a
That's
really
why.
nice
That's
shirt.
why.
Wow.
You two guys work.
Well, no, it's a
But
really good design. It's a really nice design. I mean, I could grab it if you want to take a look at it, but it's upstairs hanging. It's my only T-shirt. It's my only just regular T-shirt that I hang. No, the company ones are the only ones I hang. Otherwise, all my T-shirts are folded. Those I hang.
Oh, you hang them. So yeah, but
Those
Kelsey
I
said
hang.
Kelsey said it was a heat of the moment thing. That's what he said. Heat of the moment. Hasn't made a decision despite media reports.
So he
I was
hasn't made a
like,
decision. So he's not sure he's coming back. Because I was going to say that was when you were talking about the Eagles and before. That's going to be if he leaves. That's a huge loss. Your center. I don't know if how it is in Philly, whether the quarterback or the center calls the shifts in line, but the center is always a huge position in the offensive
huge
line. And he is so
position.
good, huge. Yeah.
Do you? They also talked about. Do you believe that Hurts regressed as I think the whole team regressed as the season went on,
Yeah.
and they didn't get a running game. I mean, I'll tell you, Sirianni, someone was throwing popcorn on him after the game.
I saw
Like,
that.
dude, yeah, I'm like, dude, you could be upset. Now it's funny. So I have a kid. Remember, I had on that kid Yankees recap. Ethan, I had on talk. He thinks that Pat Leonard is shit with the report about Dable about having the explosive temper and Kafka and Wink Martindale and the comments. He thinks but there has to be some truth, I think, in it.
Well, yeah, I wonder when I was reading that. I'm not saying it is false. I'm not saying any of it's false. I'm not
No,
saying
you can, but you can.
Well,
But Rob,
no.
you
What I was going to
can.
say is, I wonder. He's obviously got sources. I wonder who it is because let's say it's someone that's one of Wink's coaches.
Right.
Let's say let's say it's one of Dayball's favorite guys. But what if it's a guy who likes Dayball? But so who he gets it from is who his sources are is important. Now, what if it's multiple sources and they're all telling him the same thing? Then okay, but that's what I was wondering when I read that is okay. Where is he getting this from? Because the context matters with that.
But this is what I wanted to ask you. Would we even have this report? If they had a winning season, you wouldn't even hear about it because coaches can be crazy and whatever. And Belichick doesn't even talk to the media. And Saban used to be. So it's always the case when you're losing that all this stuff comes out. Like, and maybe Kafka wasn't doing the job he wants. He has an offensive mind, Dable. It worked for him in Buffalo. And Shane and him are now tied to the hip, so they're going down. The ship is going to go down with them, or it's going to thrive with them. So
yeah, I think even if Dayball doesn't work, they give Shane one more. They give Shane another chance. I think Shane's done a.
I do.
Would I say a great job? No. Would I say a bad job? I want to say a bad job. The offensive line is the one thing that I think he did a bad job on. But part of that's coaching too, and that's there's so much to football. It's so different than almost any other sport. There's so much that goes into football. You were talking about like Hurts having a regression. I go back to an interview I heard with Amani Toomer. I think I brought this up to you before. How after he retired, he was talking about someone asked him about Eli Manning and how he overthrows receivers a lot. And he said with the type of system he was running, there's a lot of options the receivers have while they're in the route. And most of the time, Eli would make the correct read. He would throw it, and the receiver would make the incorrect read. The ball would go over the head, get intercepted.
Right.
Everyone just looks at Eli. So the offense, to relate that to Hurts may have been making the correct decisions, may have been doing things correctly, and the receivers may have been making mistakes. The offensive line, maybe bad play calling, maybe there's so much to football that it's hard for us as just everyday fans to understand the in-depth reasoning of why the offense didn't perform well. And maybe it just was guys just not playing as well. I mean, last year everything kind of went right.
But this is also too much easier for us to sit home. He missed the guy wide open. The tight end was wide open. Dude, he's got 3 seconds.
Yeah.
And it's and he missed that. And you know what I noticed too, Rob? Have you now I used to say, it's quarterback interception. A lot of wide receivers stop running the routes.
Yeah.
They don't run through the routes. They kind of give up on the play, and it's an overthrow. Sometimes it's an overthrow. But I definitely think I was watching Hurts. The arm didn't look. The offense looked out of sync the whole goddamn day. They didn't run the ball enough. No tackles. There was a touchdown. I think it was Bradbury. He kind of did a hip check. He didn't even try to tackle him. I was like, "What are you doing, dude?" I mean, I saw stuff I hadn't seen, and they kept saying we're going to fix it. You can't. It was a runaway train by then. That's what I felt.
Yeah. So. And at home, when we sit here and say, it's easy. Oh, this guy was open. Well, let's say you got back to pass. Okay, your first read's left. You look left. Your guy's
1,000.
When you look, there's a linebacker in the way. So now you go right. Now you
Oh,
go,
right.
you're second, you're third, and now the guy on the left gets open, but you're already past him. So everyone goes, "Oh, that guy was open." Well, he's his first progression. He's moved off him because a linebacker is
Right.
between me and him. So now I'm off him. So now that guy gets open, or maybe someone's open deep, and I go back to pass. I look my first read before I even get to my second read. There's a guy coming to hit me, and I don't have a chance to see this guy. And everyone's like, "Why didn't you throw to him first?" Well, it's not your progression. He's not supposed to look that deep route yet. So there's so much in depth, and
So much.
yeah, there's so much to it. Maybe the receiver's running, he's supposed to run an out route and he runs a post pattern because he runs the wrong one. Now the quarterback looks this way, looks to the right. The receiver's not even over there. He looks away. Now he's open on the post route, but the quarterback's not sitting back there like, oh, let me find my receiver. He's looking quick to the right where he's supposed to be. Now, if he runs the wrong route and he doesn't see him over there, he just moves on. So there's so much to it. It
So
really is.
much.
Yeah, that's why I like
Yeah.
Brian Baldinger. You follow him on Twitter?
Yes, I do.
Guys
Yeah,
like
he
him.
shows everything.
Yeah,
Shows
I like watching
everything.
them after the game because they have an understanding of the game. They know the route concepts. They know what the defense is trying to do, what the offense is trying to accomplish as far as not just that play, but they also have with the plays they call. They have a whole idea of what they're trying to do. Like I'm setting you up for a play action later. So Baldinger gets a better understanding of those things too.
Yeah, he really does. And that's the thing too. And like you said, like now Jones sometimes does make bad decisions and he locks in. Guys lock in.
Yeah.
They lock in.
Yeah.
And Wilson locks in. There's a lot of young guys.
Yeah.
And did you see yesterday?
Yep.
So you were working yesterday. 7 of the 8 quarterbacks still alive.
Yeah, I've heard that. Yeah,
First round draft
on the way
picks.
home to the podcast. Yeah, that's crazy, right?
First round draft picks, dude.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I forgot. Now Baker, they got because they didn't have a lot of cap room. He looked pretty damn good. I mean, he had one bad throw. I think middle of the game he also threw an interception. But now that's going to be just. I think that's going to be an interesting game because I think the Lions' defense sucks. The offense is good, but the defense isn't that good. And the Bucs are playing with house money, which means I honestly don't think the Packers have a shot in hell against the Niners. I don't know what you think.
Yeah, I think the Niners, they have any injury concerns they had probably solved at this point. McCaffrey's going to get a heavy load dose off there. And when we look at the numbers of when Debo play, when they all play, the numbers are really in their favor. So, and they're all going to be healthy. And I think most of this 49ers team was around a couple years ago, and they lost to the Chiefs, at least a decent amount of them. So they have that. They know. And last year, a lot of them were around last year, and there's a bad taste in their mouth from last year. Green Bay, yes, looked really good, but that Dallas defense was bad.
Terrible.
Terrible. Something my friend pointed out. He says they never rush anything more than 4. Their linebackers are always off the ball, even when it was obvious late in the game when Green Bay was going to run, they were still off the ball. Quinn did not all year long. He never sends any extra pressure, and they clearly weren't getting in. San Francisco, it's going to be loud, and that's a different team. Dallas is not the same as San Francisco. Also, San Francisco is very physical. We're going to see how Green Bay handles that. I think San Francisco takes it. I think ultimately, although I think Tampa Bay will put up a good fight, I think Detroit wins, especially because it's in Detroit. So we're going to have a Detroit possibly in the NFC Championship game. Good for them.
And then I think, I mean, I picked Detroit I picked Detroit to beat the Chiefs in the Super Bowl. I like KC to go into Buffalo. I don't think Buffalo has played a complete game this whole season in a while. A really complete game. They dominated points and they let the teams back in and they kind of pull away at the end. But I'm not blown away by Buffalo. I know it's going to be in Buffalo, but I think Mahomes got a chip on his shoulder. I think he's pissed off how he's been treated this season. And I know he whines and all the time, but I think, and what do you think about the gloves? I can't say, I think the gloves, I think you got to be bare hand, man, because the gloves, I feel, take away. I was watching, I know it was freezing out, but I would want to feel the ball with my hands with Kelsey.
Yeah, and I wonder when you're talking cold like that, I wonder if they become a little more slick.
Yes, right, because it's so cold.
Yeah, maybe at like 20 degrees it works, but when you start getting down into the 1 and 2 degrees and 0 degrees, I wonder if that affects it. I'm curious,
And Miami, listen, I mean, they had to win one goddamn game. They lost to the Titans at home on Monday Night Football, and all they did they had a 3-game lead in the AFC East, and they couldn't put them away. I mean, that's it. It was 81 in Miami, and it was minus 30 in Kansas City. So I kind of like, those gloves are like glue.
But
Yeah, they
I'd
might be.
rather feel. I played goalie in soccer, and I played in some cold, wet. I tried gloves one time, and yet, I mean, I know they're thin and all, but it's just not the same as being able to feel with my hands. I took them all after
Right,
playing a game. I was like, we didn't lose. It wasn't like it wasn't like, oh, I had a bad. I just didn't like it. I like just being able to feel, and they're not so warm. It's not like they're so warm that it makes a huge difference with the temperature when you're talking
right,
about
right,
1, 2, 3 degrees. So, yeah. Yeah, I agree with you. As far as the other thing about Kansas City is their defense is playing really well. Spagnuolo has done a great job of,
phenomenal. Yeah,
and I wonder if the defense has a little bit of a chip on their shoulder in the way that they're not talked about as one of the better in general. I mean, everyone talks about Baltimore and San Francisco, and last year was the Eagles and Kansas City, especially because their offense and Andy Reid kind of go under the radar generally. As far I mean, yes, some people do, but in general, they're not talked about as one of the best units in the league, and they've been playing really well. I think I saw in the
phenomenal.
second half of the season they only gave up one second half touchdown in any game since the second half of the season. So they're playing really well. Spagnuolo coaches well, and so I wonder if there's something to that too, where the defense is got a chip on its shoulder, one to say, hey, we can carry this team. The offense isn't as good, but we're here.
And you still have Mahomes. Mahomes is going to make plays when he
Yeah.
needs to make plays.
Yeah.
And Josh Allen is going to be Josh Allen.
I'm surprised. I mean, I know Buffalo has run it more, but I would, if I were them, I'd really want to give Cooks a heavy load.
I agree. Well, that's what I think a lot of teams should be doing. And it's going to be cold. It's going to be freezing next weekend.
Yeah.
This weekend. It's going to be really cold. Texans, you see, Baltimore's that wild card. Lamar Jackson's only won one playoff game. And I feel like, I know they're home. Stroud looks phenomenal. And they've lost guys. They just, like you said, everybody thought the Browns, was their Cinderella team. Browns are going to go all the way to, listen, and
they just fired. You see this morning, they fired a whole bunch of offensive people, which surprises me. Their offense wasn't that bad.
You know what? 4 quarterbacks. I think he had to do something. I don't understand that move either. I think, well, maybe because they didn't think that, and they need to get more out of Deshaun Watson.
But I think they fired their tight ends coach. Njoku just had a really good year. The running back coach. I mean, they have been running. I know the offensive line, but they've been running the ball really well for years. And your running back coach is fired.
That seemed like an impulse.
Yeah, right.
Fire.
Yeah,
I'd hire him. Listen, I think Van Pelt would get hired by somebody else to make the goddamn playoffs with 4 different quarterbacks to get the play out of Flacco that he got.
Yeah. So, I think Houston. I think their train ends here. I think Baltimore wins this game. Houston's. I don't know. I don't think. Yeah.
I don't think Houston's
the defense
I think
is
Houston
really good in Baltimore. I think it's going to be hard to do well against them.
Yes, I agree. Yeah. So that's so we did all. And is it what do we do all the games? Who else do we?
Yeah, those are the 4. I think Kansas City wins too, and then I think Baltimore wins, and then Detroit and San Fran.
Yeah. So that's gonna, and then Detroit, San Fran on the grass, which should be. But the problem is that the problem that's going to be in that game is, I mean, we talk about offenses. You got Ayuk, you got the tight end,
Deebo Samuel, Kittle,
McCaffrey. and McCaffrey. Just 4 right there. I mean, what team has 4 guys that had over 1,000 yards? All 4 of them could at any point of any game could take over a game. And Deebo Samuel could do it at any moment. He's gone. Yeah,
and Purdy, Ayuk may be gone. I thought about it since we had. I think you and I had the conversation of, and I don't think it'll ever happen. But I just think of if San Francisco got a hold of Fields and used him in the slash role, how he would fit so well there. But
with Shanahan, yes, I think I would love to see Fields get a good. Fields needs to be traded, and someone needs to work on his work with him on his footwork and his accuracy, because he doesn't stop. He doesn't plant his feet. And when he went 19 for 41 the other day. I was like, the throws were terrible. I was like, and sometimes he looks okay, but it's not consistent enough for me. I love him, but I don't think he's consistent. Like you said, you got to be able to throw from the pocket. And a lot of these guys, you got to throw from the pocket. Kyler Murray to me is another guy that I feel he just doesn't. It's too inconsistent for me.
So, what do you think of Jared Goff? You think he could win in Detroit, like win a Super Bowl in Detroit?
You see, I felt that he made a lot of bad decisions in the Dallas game, a game that they got basically got taken away from them. I thought that that guy was eligible, but I think he makes some bad mistakes. I'll tell you though, against in the game against the Rams at the end, that he threw the ball on the last drive to run out the clock.
Yeah.
I'm not 100% sold on him. I got to be honest with you. I feel he could be the weak link. I think he's up for a new contract. I mean, he had a very solid season, but sometimes he had a good game. Definitely got his jersey tugged, and they could have called it. Who knows if they would have scored there, but they probably would have got a field. They said they should have a ref up in the booth every game, a ref who's watching everybody and then calls play, especially the pass interference. I felt I was watching the Philly game. Rob, he was all over him, and the ref's right there looking nothing. And I'm like, and they don't know where they're putting the ball, and the brotherly shove didn't work, which always works. It wasn't your day when you can't get the push to work. So
yeah.
I don't know if Goff is the answer. I love Dan Campbell. I wish Dan Campbell was my coach. Bumble said to me he wanted Baker Mayfield. He said he wanted them to go after Baker Mayfield this year to sign him, to bring him in, even as the backup. And you know what? He would have been much better than anything the Jets had. He's a competitor. He makes bad decisions sometimes, but he's a competitor. The guys like playing around him. I mean, that's what I feel like with your Giants. I feel like we're talking about. It depends. Next year's a big year for Dable. Does that mean he gets fired per se? But he can't have another season like this year. And you can't have DeVito's not going to play. DeVito's not ready for the NFL.
No. He's not the answer. He's a backup. He's a backup at best.
And Taylor is a backup, and Taylor's a real backup. He's a guy you need.
And he's gone though. He's gone. He's a free agent. He's going to go.
So that's the thing. So why not even? What do you think about? Well, I guess if Jones is healthy, you got to ride him. And Saquon, you can franchise tag him. He wants a long-term deal. No.
I give him 2 years with an option that kicks in if he gets even just something like if he plays X amount of games. That way, if he's injured or X amount of games, if he plays 13 of 17 both years, third year kicks in, something like that. That way, it's based on him staying healthy, because that's the one issue with him. So if he goes, if he's not willing to accept that, then I franchise him again. But I'll give him a 2 year with the third year option based on games played in the 2 years.
I love that. I love that. I think that's you just can't give him more. And I know he doesn't have a line, and he had a good year. He had a solid. He didn't get 1,000, right? He didn't go for 1,000.
No, he didn't get 1,000. He missed. He missed 3 games, but he came, and he always does this. He he came back when he really wasn't quite 100%. Okay, so he wasn't really the same back for his first game or two back. But I mean, he had no line and no passing game. I mean, you had DeVito in there for a while, so teams were able to key on him. So I think overall he did well for what he was given.
And looking back, I will agree in the article that the Jet game, he should not thrown out. I will give Dable fault for that. Gano should not kick the field goal. Go for the yardage. Run out the clock. Game over.
Oh yeah. That's especially given where the Giants were. Not just in any game, I think in that scenario, but especially given where the Giants were in the season. I mean, the season was pretty much over at that point. So what do you have to lose?
Right. And I kind of wanted DeVito to come in for a game, just to give him another game. I know I think the players wanted Taylor more than they wanted him, but I'll tell you, good last game of the season. You really that was a great
Philly. Yeah, beating Philly was good, and having Philadelphia and you could say what you want, but the Giants do get to hang a 2024 Eagles Cowboys lose in the first round of playoffs championship. The Giants get that banner to hang up, so they won the last game, and then they give a championship banner for that. So at the end of the season, winning the last game was nice, and then celebrating. The NFC East hate is so real. Like I got so much joy at work. I work in a room. We got like 12 of us, 14 of us in the room, and a bunch of them are sports fans. And I walk around and say, "Can you move your feet out of the desk?" And they said, "Why?" I said, "I'm looking for dem boys. I'm looking. They're gone. I keep looking at my table here. Dem boys were around, and they're just gone." So we get so much excitement out of seeing them lose the way they did. And yeah, that win against the Eagles at the end of the season was nice. It was good. So yeah, we'll see.
So now you made me think. I didn't want to forget defensive coordinator. Who do you think you go after?
I know they're talking Antonio Pierce. That's someone that I would want to bring in. If not,
I think Pierce is a lock.
If not, yeah, Frazier is someone who's proven himself before as a good coordinator. So if I'd rather have someone that's proven, that's done well at this point, because you're going into a year that's a must-win. There's a good chance, and the Giants obviously know if they're going to draft a rookie quarterback. If they are drafting a rookie quarterback, I definitely want a coordinator that's experienced and done this before. That you don't have to wonder, is he going to be good or not? Because you never know. The Giants when Spagnuolo left after 2008. They promoted their linebackers. I think it was their linebackers coach. It was someone within, Bill Sheridan. Sheridan learned under Spagnuolo, but had a few things he wanted to do different, as every coordinator will want to. The Giants were, with the same players, 2008, the Giants' defense was awesome. The Giants were, until Plaxico got hurt, the Giants were, 12-1, I think it was. I know at least 10-1. I think they were 12-1. They were humming. They'd already beat Pittsburgh, who went on to win the Super Bowl that year. And the Giants were rolling. And Plaxico gets hurt. And anyway, so Sheridan comes in with the same players. Horrible defense. Absolutely horrible. I think one of the second or third worst scoring defense in the league. And he was new, but he learned under Spagnuolo. But so you don't know with a new guy. He could come in for learning from someone else, and you never know. And I think with where the Giants are, they need to get someone proven. So like a Frazier, someone like that, that has done it, is someone I want. Pierce did it in the Raiders a little bit, was also a head coach, but he did it this year with them, or linebackers coach actually. So I guess Frazier would be my choice, but if not, I want someone who's proven himself, and I don't want to stay far away from Patricia.
No, come on. No. I don't want Patricia.
No. Yeah, but Patricia, you know what? Who's a coordinator out there? Defensive coordinator, done it for a long time. Bill Belichick. I'd like to bring him as a coordinator and defensive coordinator. Former Giant.
Then you get rid of Dable.
Defensive coordinator. I just want him as a defensive coordinator. I think Belichick could be 95 years old and still coach, just be coordinator and still be the best coordinator. I think he could be on his deathbed calling plays and still dominating as a coordinator.
I can see Belichick not giving this up anytime soon. I can see him where I think Saban might even take a year off and be like, get the itch again, which could happen.
He might, but it's such a different 72, and it's such a grind. And
nonstop. It is a grind.
Nonstop. And I agree with you. I think this year was his best coaching year. People say the game has passed him by. That team was not to get that team. My friend Van is a big Alabama fan, and when they lost to Texas, he said, "Yeah." And it wasn't just the loss to Texas. Even coming into the season, he said, "Yeah, this team isn't going to be the same, and they're not going to compete for a championship or anything like that." I said, "It's Saban, man. He finds a way." And they lost to Texas, and he texted me. He's like, "Yeah, I told you so." And then I said, "No." I told him then. I said, "Watch, Saban's going to get this team into the championship." I was like, "Wouldn't be surprised if they win it." And they
almost did.
Yeah,
they almost did.
Yeah.
They had this is the first year in a long time where I can say there was no dominant, even though Michigan is the national champion, it was not a dominant team. Not a dominant team. They had a good run. They got they played Bama. Georgia, I would have loved to seen. That's why the 12-team playoff next year is going to be interesting.
Yeah,
because
and
it's still only going
to. If they had got the quarterback injury, who knows what happens there? Yeah.
But I still think in the 12, there's only going to be 6-7 good teams. There's a lot of even from 7 to 12, huge drop. And Penn State will make the playoff every year just because they win so many games, but they're not.
And Notre Dame will make it, and because they're a big TV draw, because they generally have a good record, but they fall flat against all the better teams. The best teams, they fall flat. So they'll be in there. Penn State will be in the air. Ohio State will be in there because Ohio State year and year is out. I mean, he's good, but who knows whether they win it. But there's certain teams you can kind of count on.
So Ohio State got a kid from Ole Miss who ran for a combined 3,000 yards the last 2 years. He's their new running back. Now, I mean, they got a quarterback who, I forget the name of the kid who went from Kansas State. I watched him play. But they want to just beat Michigan. That's all they want to do next year. And that's another thing. So Milton's coming on, Michigan's friend. He went to the championship game. He's been a fan forever. So I'm dying to know what he thinks about Harbaugh, JJ McCarthy. I mean, that's what I thought too. McCarthy. So we were talking about,
yeah,
right. But we were I think that, but What if Harbaugh goes to Atlanta and brings in a quarterback and has McCarthy sit for a year or two?
Wilson. See, to me, Kirk Cousins isn't the answer if he's trying to really compete. But if he brings in a Wilson, because McCarthy's, I didn't realize he was only 20. Yeah, it's a perfect scenario. Go there, bring in a veteran. You could draft McCarthy. Maybe like you could take someone you want at number what are they, number 8? It was. They could maybe trade back up or trade back, get some extra picks.
Right.
Take McCarthy 15, 16. They know about who's taking what. They talk to GMs. What are you looking at? To draft, and so they can know about where to slot back to get him. Trade back if someone's interested, because once again we talked about fans will say trade back. Well, you got to have a partner. If they have a partner that was willing to go back, move up, go back, trade with that people, get McCarthy. And then, like you said, if you learned under Russell, you can say what you want about Russell Wilson. Russell Wilson has been winning in the NFL a long time. Got to 2 Super Bowls, won one. He wasn't bad in Denver at all last year.
But let me ask you a question. You don't like Kirk Cousins?
No.
Instead of, you like Wilson more than Cousins?
Yeah, I mean, he had everything he wanted with that offense last year. Not this year, the past, but the one before against the Giants. And the Giants' defense wasn't great at all in any stretch. And he had Jefferson, and he had Dalvin Cook, and he had they ended up trading Hawkinson. They traded him, but they
got
they traded
Hawkinson.
for him. Yeah, they got him. Instead of Hawkinson, a good tight end. He's never, to me, he's I don't want to. I think I would say Jared Goff's maybe a little bit better than him. He's like a slightly poor Jared Goff. Doesn't seem to have it.
All right, I respect that. I respect it. Yeah.
And coming off a knee injury too at that age. I just don't want to. Yeah, Russell Wilson's generally been healthier.
Achilles.
Sorry,
Achilles.
Especially Achilles. Yeah, especially Achilles. So so he's not a guy I love. So if you could draft McCaffrey and let him learn under him, yeah, absolutely.
What do you think about the whole Dolan thing? 10 years ago, I love this shit. Even my mother has said to me, which I'm all for women's rights, but my mother goes, "Why now? Instead of why now? Why now? 10 years ago, this definitely happened. If it happened, why now? Why all of a sudden now is she coming out?" And I still think Dolan has to pay.
A lot of women tend to blame themselves for these situations. Who knows where she's been in her life? She knows the second she does it, there's going to be a lot of press. There's going to be a lot of heat on her. There's a lot of scrutiny into her life. If she's, she might have spiraled in her life. I obviously don't know anything about. Maybe she got into drugs because she obviously has got to be. If this happened, there's probably some PTSD from it, and she might have spiraled. She might have been reasons why outside.
But reportedly, she got assaulted by him. Then she bumped into Weinstein, who forced his way in the room and assaulted her, and the phone rang, and it was Dolan calling. I'm like, that's a double whammy. So, and even Dolan reportedly said, well, he's got his issues, Weinstein, which they've been talking. But I just don't understand 10 years after the fact it comes out now. And, they're not going to get rid of him as an owner. I mean,
they could.
They could, but they could.
I don't think
I guess there are bylaws or there ethics,
they forced what's his name in the Clippers.
Oh, Sterling.
Yeah, they forced him out. They forced Phoenix, didn't they? Force out the Phoenix. They forced out Phoenix owner too, didn't they?
Sarver. They did get rid of Sarver too.
So
that'd be great for New York. Would that be great for New York sports to get rid of Dolan forever?
I'm not. Let me first say this: if this is true. If this is proven true and they want to force him out, I'm not saying to keep him. If they do, I never thought I'd say this. Dolan has finally let a GM do what he wants, and a good GM. God forbid they bring in someone who is Dolan from 20 years ago, and then Knicks who were good. This could be so New York. They finally get a good team. NBA forces him out this summer. They get someone in there who then once changes and revert back. So we got like 2 years of good Knicks and revert back to, and they trade for Kyrie Irving and trade for, and who knows? And we revert back to the old Knicks, and it's like we got a little taste of a decent team, and then poof, it's gone.
Yes,
that would be so New York Knicks, wouldn't it? So
it would be so New York. Now I wanted to ask you a question. I kind of love this because they were talking about. So Jokic, they lost last night. He had 41 Embiid in their win last night. So you have to have played at least 65 games to be eligible for the MVP and all that stuff. I love it. I think it's the
Yeah.
best thing they've ever done
Yep,
because
and those type of things like that. I don't know if MVP is part of it. I don't think it is, but I know as far as your max contract being all NBA. Oh yeah, so it's all NBA. I think they
yeah,
should.
you have to. Yeah,
That's the way to do it. I wonder if they thought of this, and I don't know if the players have to agree to it. To part of getting your max contract is I believe making an All NBA team a certain amount of times. There is stipulations to getting a max contract. You can't just give it to like it's an earned thing. As far as being voted, I think it's all NBA teams and stuff like that. Now locking the All NBA into a certain amount of games played, then guys will want to play a certain amount of games because that is where money comes into the fact. So
yes,
I can look that up real quick. I believe it is all NBA. You have to be a certain amount of all NBA teams to get your.
yes, you do,
Yeah.
you
So
do.
now if you could lock in the All NBA to games played, now guys don't want to do it because money now it gets those max contracts a lot more money versus not. So Zion Williamson wouldn't have been able to got that contract, let's just say, if he wasn't All NBA and if he wasn't playing a certain amount of games. Now you could put a stipulation there for certain injuries like torn ligaments and things like that. If they miss a certain amount of games because of you could put stipulations of torn ligaments, torn Achilles, things of that nature, but. Yeah, Jokic plays every day, right? I don't ever remember Jokic sitting.
No, Jokic
Yep,
doesn't miss. It's not even up for discussion.
yep,
Jokic
yep.
plays.
And he puts up just as many points and never gets hurt. He gets hurt a lot less than Embiid does, and Embiid sits games, gets hurt a lot less than Kevin Durant does, and he plays every single game. He's been in the playoffs 5 straight years, so he's played extra games too, and he just went to the won the finals, so he was all the way there, and he plays in the elevation, which is less oxygen in your body, so and he plays every game.
No, I do not disagree. So I wanted to ask you this. So Billy Reinhart writes for the Nets. He's talking about a backcourt with Bridges and DeJounte Murray. So he says DeJounte Murray with the Hawks over the past 2 seasons without Trae Young, it's only 9 games, but 25, 9 assists, 5 rebounds, 2 steals, 47 from the field, 38 from 3, and 88 from.
Do you see why I want the Knicks to get him? Because then he would be. We're talking about creators as a third person. And mind you, when he was in San Antonio, when they focused on defense, he made the All NBA defensive team. And there was an interview. I don't know if you saw it. He said he talked about having a mindset when he played with Kawhi Leonard. That Kawhi Leonard had a mindset of practicing hard and wanting to play every day. I know he hasn't played as much because of injuries, but
right, he hasn't.
But putting himself and everything DeJounte Murray said you want from a star. He said, I want to be better. I want to work hard. I want to be able to practice hard. I'm not satisfied. He is a guy who's not satisfied with just, I got my point. He wants to win and he wants to work hard to get there. So
I agree.
Yeah. Yeah.
What? No.
He's a guy I want for the Knicks. He's a guy I would be good. I would be happy with the Knicks getting him because he would be the creator.
But who are you
Brunson?
I agree. But who but they're going to want one of. They're going to want. So you're going to give it DiVincenzo? Who you give? I guess
no, Grimes
DiVincenzo
and picks because here's part of the issue. So here's Atlanta is about to hit what they call the apron. So they are. And so they need to get rid of him, and it's obviously not working with him and what's it called? Him and
Trae Young.
Trae Young. The Knicks have the picks, and they have Grimes. What people like, it just depends. So they're going to probably move off him. It just depends on how good of a package other teams have to offer to get him. And once again, DeJounte Murray isn't going to name a bad team, a horrible team.
I don't think he's going to the Nets. I don't think he's going to go. He's going to be pissed at the Nets.
Trailblazers aren't trading for him. So let's say, or they're not going to. Oklahoma City has great young talent, but they're not giving up Alexander or the center.
Giddy.
Yeah, they're not giving up those guys. So it's got the tall white
Holmgren.
Yeah, Holmgren. Yeah, so it's got the Knicks just have to give a better package. They also have to have on those teams. They have to be able to match salary. That's another thing. The Knicks can do that with Fournier. And Fournier could be his last year of the deal. He has a club option at the end of the year. So if Atlanta wants to match up, Atlanta should trade for him and then either let him go or they could pick up the option and have him as a expiring contract to use next year for a trade piece. So it all depends on how good of a package other teams that want him can offer him. if they can offer better than the Knicks give up several picks for him and Grimes, or and because the Knicks can't trade DiVincenzo till after the trade deadline, they can't trade Hart till after the trade deadline because they just signed extensions, so they are not options to be
Yes.
traded.
Okay.
So it just depends on what other teams have to offer. Really, can the Knicks make a better offer than other teams?
And he's guaranteed for, like you said, he's guaranteed for 20 a game. So now you have three guys that are guaranteed. Right. You have three guys, and then Hart plays his DiVincenzo. I mean, you got Harden's trying to play. That's a different team all of a sudden. That's it.
And DiVincenzo then goes to the bench and he replaces Grimes minutes and scoring off the bench.
Okay, so and Anunoby doesn't affect Anunoby because he's not. He's a shooting. DeJounte is
a small forward, and DeJounte Murray's 6'5". He can play point guard or guard. He's 6'5", and he's got a good wingspan, so he can play.
Okay, good. Okay,
yeah.
So
and
they're
when
different
Brunson
team.
and Art Randall go off the court now you have Murray who can score to be the guy who then can, as I talk, the creator to give open shots for other people. So now you don't have to play them too many minutes.
Dude, you make a lot of sense, dude. You make a lot of sense.
Not just me. I mean, honestly, the first time I heard someone talk about it was Alan Hahn, who was on ESPN Radio 98.7, has an afternoon show, and also does the Knicks pregame and calls some games too. And he talked about it right away.
Are you getting paid for that? Because does he know you're giving his?
No, but he loves the company of Josh had him and Josh DM back and forth, and he knows us and he knows me. When he sees me, he recognizes me. He's not getting paid, but he likes us and we love him, man. Han and his show's great.
I'm busting. Did you see the Oilers 11 in a row last night?
Yeah,
so they made they made the coaching change. Yep. It worked. It worked.
Their defense is suspect though, but they got two of the best players in the league.
But that's what I'm saying. Once it gets to the playoffs, they're in trouble. Like they're this team that's going to tease you every goddamn year, and they don't have because they never had a good goaltender either. The goaltender was never.
How long does what's his name stay there? The
McDavid.
I was going to say McTavish. Old name. Yeah, not McTavish.
And I gotta give a little New Jersey love. Seton Hall won on a 28-0 run yesterday against St. John's, and they beat him 80-65. 28-0 run.
That's expensive.
Yeah, that should never happen. And I think Pitino wasn't coaching the game, and Seton Hall's 6-1 of the Big East. They're second best.
Why wasn't he coaching?
Something happened. I was listening. We were watching the news, and they kind of they blurbed it out, and that's why I was wondering why Pitino. Something happened. He missed the game. I'm gonna look it up.
Yeah,
I don't know why he missed the game. So I was kind of like, what happened? Oh, you're looking at him. He's typing away.
Yeah.
Does it say why he was out?
COVID.
Oh, Jesus Christ. I knew it was something. I knew it was something. And you know what they even showed last night on the news and everything? The PWHL, the women's hockey. They had a Montreal beat New York 3-2, but they had a crowd there, man, in Montreal. Listen, I'll tell you the truth. I would love the Expos to get a baseball team. I would love the Expos back in baseball. Oh, yeah. I would be like, that would be heaven on earth to me, man.
That 94 team, it's a shame. 94, they had a strike.
My God.
Pedro, Larry Walker, they had a whole bunch of good players. De Jesus, I think, was the second baseman, right? And they had a good roster. And the Yankees in 94 too. So yeah, that sucks, the strike.
That was the year, man. That was the year.
Yeah. Could you imagine if they won? They may never have moved them to Washington.
And a lot of guys are decommitting from Alabama. Their All-American safety is thinking about entering the transfer portal. Yeah, All-American freshman safety Alabama because DeBoer. I think these guys jumped the gun, man. I think they jumped the gun. And listen to this, Rob. So they're saying 5 receivers can go in the first round. So listen to 2021. You had Jamar Chase, Jalen Waddle, Devontae Smith. All guys turned out to be legit. Then in 2017, you had Corey Davis, Mike Williams, and John Ross. All three out of the NFL already. Yeah.
Ross is interesting. Ross was pretty good with Cincinnati.
No, he was a bust. Remember he started off.
I thought he was a decent. Okay.
He got hurt, and then he never. I think he was making a comeback
after the injury.
And then 2004 was Fitzgerald, Roy Williams, who had a good part, and then disappeared. And Reggie Williams, I think he was at Watt. He also turned out to be. It's amazing. They say all these guys taken. And did you see? Okay, so Siakam to Indiana for 3 first-round picks. So
Has
Siakam
the
to
potential, right?
and Bruce Brown and 3 first-round picks. Rob, that sounds like a lot. That sounds
Well,
like a lot to
here's
give
the
him.
thing. In Indiana, they don't play defense at all. Siakam, yes, is a good defender, but it's also defense is a team game. Is team, is your whole team has to be invested. And yes, one guy can make a difference, but they don't play any defense. And Siakam's a free agent after this year. If you're the Pacers, do you think like you're giving up 3 first-round picks for Siakam?
Yes.
Like what to me, if you're doing something like that for a guy who's going to be free agent, you do it for a guy you think is going to bring you a championship.
Right.
Like,
I agree.
I just let's say a LeBron in his prime went to a Pistons that were right. Let's say LeBron early on went to Pistons and he was that person that was going to put him over the top right near the end of the Pistons run. I get it, but you are
No.
not. You added Siakam. You are not beating the Pacers. I mean, you're not beating the Celtics. You're not beating Milwaukee. I don't even think that they would beat the Knicks. I don't think because of the playoffs you have to play D. The up and down offense doesn't work in the playoffs the same. So I don't think you're beating the Knicks, the Celtics, the. So why you're giving up 3 first-round picks for Siakam? I mean, they think they can. I know Siakam said he wants to become a free agent. You got to be pretty confident you're re-signing him. Otherwise, boy.
Yeah, like the Yankees with Soto. There's no way he's re-signing with the Yankees. If he is, he's gonna make them. He's gonna draft. He's got Boris. Like I said, I know we talked about ad nauseum about, but I think the same thing with Polar Bear with Alonso. I think Boris is not gonna.
Now with that, he wants all the money, but Cohen is willing to spend the money.
Which I agree.
So I think
that's
he has
help.
a better shot of bringing him back than maybe, than I would think the Yankees with Soto, because I think the Dodgers. The Dodgers
right.
See, and with what the Dodgers did, the Dodgers could come out and absolutely front load Soto. That way, his money's hitting now, and those guys' money hit later, and he could go out there, and the Dodgers could outbid Powell.
And they'll still lose in the first round of the playoffs.
Yeah,
they'll
they
still
will.
lose in the first.
I think that's a team. Yeah, I think that's a team that I think they may end up winning one championship out of all this. But that's to me,
I mean, I agree with Josh. They didn't give him a lot, but it's still. I'm not going to be happy if he only stays one season. I'm not going to be happy if they get one season out of him.
So they gave up pitching.
That's me.
They gave up pitching, and what do the Yankees need?
No.
And long-term pitching. It's not just if I were a team, man, I would be to me in baseball. There are always hitters that you could add free agency. I would draft pitchers like they're going out of style. I would at first, second, third, fourth round. You can always there's always hitters. There's always hitters in free agency. It's the pitchers there are, but they're always older, and you sign them to these long-term deals, and then they get hurt,
Rob,
and then you're always trying to play catch up. Always playing catch up.
What do you think the percentage of pitchers getting Tommy John surgery is now? Every pitcher comes to the league. It's got to be at least 20%. At least one of every 5 is getting arm surgery.
Yeah,
it seems
but let's not let them go over 100 innings, 100 too many pitches, because then they're going to be hurt.
Yeah. Right. Especially when you're pitching, you pitched 40 pitches in 6 innings. Got to take them out. But he's winning the game because that bites. Yankees bit them in the ass this past year. A lot of teams have bit them in the ass, and so I was looking through stuff, all this stuff. Lakin Tomlinson for the Jets is on a cap hit for $18.8 million. I guess he's going to get a pay cut next season. Yeah. I think that's gonna.
Well, the Jets are so loaded at offensive line, so no big deal. Like
you know what? But you know what's interesting about your Giants? They said that really they could use more help getting to the quarterback because Thibodeau was good but inconsistent. Like it almost looked like he took games off.
He had no one on the other side. He had no one, and I know Dexter Lawrence and him, but you're not really usually counting on your defensive tackle to get a ton of sacks. And can they get some pressure? Yes, and you need some up the middle pressure. But Thibodeau, and don't I'm not saying he's going to be Strahan, but Strahan wasn't this elite pass rusher early on in his career either. He got better and moved along, and that happens. But even if he's good, if you get someone else.
Thibodeau had a much better second year than the first year.
Yeah.
Let's just put it at that.
Yeah, and
big step up.
Yeah.
He is streaky, but hey, I mean,
and the Giants didn't have a lot of sacks in general. Wink Martindale's defense wasn't great.
But takeaways. They had more takeaways. I think they had 31 takeaways than touchdowns, which is crazy. Yeah. So how about the Kelsey?
And takeaways are a lot of it is luck.
Yeah, yes and no. I think it's if you're playing. Sometimes defense plays like an offense, trying to strip the ball out. taking chances.
Yeah.
Sometimes you burn. Yeah, right.
But
You're right.
but
You're
a lot of
jumping,
interceptions are bad throws by quarterbacks.
or right.
Or you getting a strip sack if it, is their left tackle not doing his job. If you played against San Francisco every week, you think you're getting many tackles, many strip sacks on Trent
No,
Williams? So
no.
it is also your schedule, and I mean you're going to face bad teams throughout, of course, but some of it is luck of who you're playing and just the ball. But even with strip sacks or any of that, the ball bouncing the right way. I mean that's why I say with I mean there are teams that generally will have some more turnovers, but you can have large swings in turnovers from year to year on a defense.
Or it's one score games. Like a year before, the Vikings won every one score game. This past year, not as good.
Yep.
It's like ball drops one way or this way, you miss a kick.
Yep.
Yeah, you're right.
Yeah, we'll see. The Giants definitely need another pass rusher. No question. Yeah.
So there's a
what's
good
his name from
article.
the Jets? Was it McDonald is a free agent from the Jets?
Connor McGovern?
No, is it or yeah? There's somebody who's a Jets linebacker free agent, I believe.
No, Quincy Williams. Wait, Jets free agent.
Free agent linebacker.
Jets.
Yeah.
Mr. Names over here. Mr. Names. Oh. 2000. Well, it can't be Quincy. You just got all pro.
Is it Bryce
Huff?
No.
Bryce Huff. Yeah, Bryce Huff. Bryce Huff is going to get. He's going to get paid a fortune.
Yeah, so I'm not saying they should sign him, but I mean, there's an option of a guy who's going to, I don't know enough about him, but there's always a few guys, usually one or two pass rushers. We'll see. There's holes to fix, but So you're saying Tomlinson's a free agent? Tomlinson may restructure, or he may go somewhere else.
They're gonna have to restructure him.
Is he going to want to take a pay cut? He's still a good player. He could get paid. He's going to want to take a pay cut to stay with the Jets versus who knows who? Maybe the Giants offer him money. He's a good
Why not?
guard, right?
Why not? Yeah, why not? Why not? Yeah, and Bryce Huff was an undrafted. I love that. All these guys, all the scouts, and an undrafted free agent becomes a superstar. I mean, I don't think anybody thought Strahan was going to become a Hall of Fame player.
No.
I don't think
anybody.
Part of
it he learned from Lawrence Taylor how to practice hard. It's something he always gave credit. He goes, I came in when Lawrence Taylor, and one thing he taught me is how to practice. He
was a hell of a player.
Yeah,
it is. Yep. And we were talking about with my friend Brandon. It's not something you can teach. It's something you have to have. You have to want to have that drive inside.
Well, you have to have the want. You have to have the want. But I think there's some. He talked about like Lawrence Taylor's intensity and stuff like that, and then he learned from it, and so you got to have the want to be better and stuff like that. I mean, I think Randall talked about how he learned from Kobe.
Yeah, he did.
And you've seen the change. You've seen the change in him.
Yeah, I'm still to be determined in my opinion. I'm
not saying he's going to be great, but you can see that he has his change in growth in his game. He's
doesn't miss games. And he does not miss games. He plays.
He doesn't miss games, but he credits Kobe Bryant for teaching him how to just always. He didn't realize in order to be great. Not saying he's going to be great, but if he were to ever get,
but you're right. You
saw Kobe and learn like Kobe works all the time, and sometimes
all the time
you see that and you say, and you think you're working really hard, and then you see someone else like Kobe who's just doing it to another level, and you say, oh, I'm not quite there. Oh, that's what that's really like. And then you start learning from him. And he gave him credit of how to learn that way, and Strahan learned it from him. And so you see someone like Bryce Huff. And I think there's things with scouting, unless the scout talks to players. I don't know whether they do. I don't know if NFL scouts do really how much time they have with the player when they see him play.
The Giants love Daniel Jones. They said Daniel Jones bust his ass. He
worked hard.
They said, he works really hard. And that's something. There's something to be said. It sounded like that the team loves they love Baker Mayfield. The Bucs, he came in and I think he realized, hey, I was on 4 goddamn teams. Things weren't working. I'm playing for my football life right now. And he'll get a contract and hopefully he'll turn the corner.
Yeah,
I mean, that's what you hope for.
He has talent. And Mike Evans is a good receiver.
Oh my God, Mike Evans.
Godwin's the slot is good. They have a good defense. I mean, they have some
Rashad White. Rashad White's a pretty good running back, but yeah, Evans. and Godwin, and I'll tell you, they look that defense.
Yeah.
Antoine Winfield Jr. should have made the Pro Bowl. He didn't make the Pro Bowl, so the Manicast, Eli says he's taking him to the Pro Bowl. He's my +1. He said,
Good.
which I thought was
Todd
hilarious.
Bowles, that's Todd Bowles' first playoff win, isn't it?
Yes. I'll tell you. You know
good
what?
For him. He seems like a good man.
Yeah,
good for him.
Yeah, looks like a great man. Did you? So the Manicast, who was the coach you took over for? Who did he take over for again? Who was the coach that won the Super Bowl?
The offensive guru.
So he was on the Manicast, and he said something like, "Well, this shit is,"
and character, yeah.
Oh, he started. He swore on it. It was hilarious. Yeah, it was hilarious.
Who is it? No,
I'm blanking on his name. Yeah. I see B. Is it a B? How come I can't remember his name?
Bruce Arians. Bruce Arians.
And Bruce Arians started out working with Peyton with the Colts. I mean, he was the youngest coach in college football. He coached Bowles at Temple. So there's a lot going on. So if you get to read The Athletic, there's an article about Jason and Travis living together. Travis got busted for smoking weed. And the two guys, so Travis was selected in the 3rd round. Jason was selected in the 6th.
6th, yeah.
13 All-Pro honors combined, 16 Pro Bowl selections, 3 Super Bowl titles.
I mean, as a parent, their parents got to be like, boy. Didn't Jason just get one of the world's sexiest men or something like that?
Did Travis? Travis, I think, won it, right? Travis won it. You got to watch.
No,
you got to watch
Jason Kelce,
Jason won it.
I believe.
No. Did he? Dude, you got to watch him. You got to watch him and his brother do their. Michigan loves their
man
podcast.
Alive, Jason Kelce. Yeah.
I missed it. Now I know.
So Jason Kelce gets sexiest man alive. And Travis Kelce has won two Super Bowls and is dating Taylor Swift. Like, boy, can I just get a little bit of this luck going my way?
I don't think Jason Kelce seems like he just dances to his own drum, and he just I love him. I think I said on yesterday's show, forget Brady, put him on the air and let him call football games, because I think he has that thing where he would just break down every goddamn play and be like, well, this isn't working. And look at the center. And you'd be like, okay. I think Brady's a brilliant guy too, but I don't think he has the pizzazz that Kelce has.
And he's hated by so many people too, I think. Brady.
Yeah. Brady's, very disliked. Very disliked. Loathed.
I
like the word loathed.
I saw this question real quick. I don't know why it made me, but the hating. So I saw someone ask, what's a tougher job, coach of Alabama or president of the U.S.?
Coach Alabama.
I think so, and this is my answer. If you're the president, half the country hates you. If you're the coach, everyone but almost all the country hates you.
That is a tough, and the money they make now. Can you imagine when it first started? What guys were making? Now they're making $10 million to coach college football.
It's crazy. And like we call guaranteed, and you're king of the college.
Dude,
if you're winning, you're king.
Do you think Saban paid for a meal? He got a free house, free car, driver. I don't think he paid for anything when he was there, and he'll never pay for anything again.
Saban. It's an argument if you're at a place like that or Clemson, like if Debo would to have walked away after a second championship, he would continue to be a god there. Whereas now, if he starts losing, they're gonna turn on him, you know?
Yeah, but I still think he has I agree, but he still has those champions. They would never. He put Clemson on a path that they never. And the problem was, I think he went with the NIL and all, and I think he tried to do it a different way. It doesn't work. Now you have to. That's all they talk about now. Like Hal, my cousin, went to Texas. I said, they're going Sark is gonna go to Bama. He goes, they can't afford him, and they just got a guy yesterday from
can't afford him.
Yeah,
Texas has more money. Thinking Alabama can't afford him.
Texas has more money. Texas,
I know, but they have more money. But are they just going to give him whatever he asks, or are they going to have a limit? And is that limit the same as Alabama can afford? You know what I'm saying? Could they pay him $300 million a year just for a number? Maybe, but are they going to really pay him that? No. And so let's say they're only going to pay him $13 million a year. Alabama could probably come up with $13 million a year to pay him. So that's what I'm saying. Like,
Eh,
yeah, Texas may have more money, but are they willing to just give him essentially way more than Alabama could probably
I,
afford to pay him $20 million a year?
okay, but this is this is why I'm saying they have the money. They just got the kid Bond, Isaiah Bond, who was the leading receiver of Bama, is now at Texas. They just got him. Now they just signed all Pac-12 player Oregon State Silas Bolden. So they just got 2 kids to come in next year with Quinn Ewers. Texas is going to be stacked next year. They brought back Ewers. He's got wide receivers. The money at that school is astronomical. Mike, I'm telling you. Now that
And if
Saban's
only they had good weather and beautiful women down there too, that would really make it.
Oh, they do.
I'm kidding. I know I'm being sarcastic.
Yeah. Right. No, but they do. If only.
Yeah,
dude,
of course.
I should take you to Austin. You would have a good time at a football game. That's
okay.
it.
I'm grabbing my keys. Let me. I got.
You're like, let's go. All right. We got to get I got to get the trivia because I got to go train
So
somebody.
I got yesterday's Houston Texans. I got that yesterday's.
So yesterday's was Texans' first NFL team to win the division with a rookie head coach and rookie quarterback. Today's trivia question. Okay. The NFC East was the first division in NFL history this year to have what happened to it? The NFL East is the first division in NFL history to have what happened that had never happened before in the history of the NFL.
Both teams win at least 12 games and lose and not win a playoff game.
You know what, dude? I'm going to give it to you. Okay.
So 11 games. 11 games. Right?
And what happened? And lose
Both
a playoff game. But what did
round.
they? Okay, and how did they lose in the first round? What was the?
Oh, lose at home. No.
No.
Home. What do you mean? How do they lose? What?
Think about both. They both lost in the first round, but were they close games or were they?
Oh, blowouts. Okay, by a certain amount.
Yes.
By a certain. Blowouts. Yeah.
So, dude, they are the first division in NFL history to have 2 11-win teams and lose their playoff openers by 15 plus points.
15. Okay, dude, 15 plus.
Look at you. See, I can't even use the trivia question anymore.
Yeah, you can.
Rob,
you're getting funny.
See, Rob, I want to thank you because I was just like, when I do the podcast, I feel like the day is there's no sun in the sky, and now we got a show. I got 2 shows we can put up. And Milton is coming on to talk Michigan at 4:15. He goes, I may cry. So that one is not.
And now you know how to do the YouTube. So for future
I will, but he wants the phone. So I apologize.
That's fine, but he might be able to join you. If you send him the invite, he might be able to join you via the phone with you on your computer. That might work.
Maybe. You know what? Maybe I'll try to get him on YouTube today. That's
if you want to give it a test run earlier with me, I'm home all day. So if just a quick test run to see if that works, I could try it on my phone if you want. But now you know how to do it with other people. You know.
I'm going to try to get him to join my YouTube page, and we could do YouTube, and then I can get him on. Yeah. All right, dude.
Awesome.
You're awesome. Company of Jace, Josh, Kev,
you're awesome.
Rob. You're the best. And you wear that sweatshirt with pride.
I do. You know how old this shirt is?
How old?
This is easily this may be 20 years old.
Dude, it fits you like
it's easily a decade.
Well.
It's easily a decade. I'm guessing this is at least 20. I wait around the house now because it's starting to pull out a little bit. But I know you got to go. All right. Catch you later, JD. We'll talk constantly.
We'll talk later. We'll talk constantly. Adios.
Right.
Adios. Bye.